Thank you. Hello. Today I'm mainly going to be talking to you about TPO, the People's Operator. But before I do that, just by a little bit of a way of introduction, everybody saw the Wikipedia logo and lifted their cameras up. Got to get a picture of that. I'll just sort of put it into the overall framework of my career and the kinds of projects that I've worked on. So Wikipedia is obviously one of the most famous internet sites. We're normally in the top 5 worldwide, 400 million users every month. Wikia, which you may know a little bit less about, is the rest of the library, we say. So everything that doesn't belong in Wikipedia goes in Wikia. Advertising-supported wiki communities, primarily entertainment and gaming fan sites. And Wikia has now made its way into the top 20 of all websites in the US and similar ranking around the world. And for both of these projects, what they're really about is giving the community control, giving the community the ability to accomplish some goals that they have. TPO is the new company, which is based on that same kind of concept of community control and of giving people a tool to accomplish something they want to accomplish. Now, we are a mobile operator, an MVNO. And so like any mobile operator, we do operate in the consumer marketplace. We offer, mobile plans, deals, everything that you would normally expect from a mobile operator. But there is a big difference with TPO. So 10% of your bill you can direct to the cause of your choice. And this is very, very wide open. We don't select the causes. People can select any cause that they want. In the UK currently, you're able to select any charity that's been approved by the Charities Commission. In the US, you're able to select any 501c3 charity. But we're expanding beyond that. The idea is almost more like a Kickstarter model. You can raise funds for any type of cause, anything that you care about, your local school, a poet that you like, anything that you want, you could raise money for using TPO. 25% of the company's profits, and we are a for-profit company, is dedicated to charity through the TPO Foundation, which will have certain themes of support and giving over the years. And so with those two things, we have a fairly unique consumer proposition. We are very cause-driven. So the idea of TPO is that when you're joining the People's Operator, you're not just signing up for phone service, you're actually supporting a particular cause that you love. And that cause-driven focus is a really important part. Now, one of the questions that you might have is, how can we afford to give the 10%? Where does it come from? And the answer is, it comes out of the marketing budget. Because we are giving the 10%, we cannot afford to do traditional marketing. No TV commercials, billboards, magazine ads, newspaper ads, all of that kind of advertising would make it impossible for us to offer the 10%. Instead, the 10% is our marketing budget. And we work with a lot of partners, so the cause-related partners, we go to them and we say, hey, here's another way that your members or your supporters can raise money. If they switch their phone service, then you'll be able to raise money. So one of the things that makes this interesting for a lot of the cause partners, and this is particularly true in the US, it's very common that a large public-facing charity will have a lot of donors who give $20 a year. But given the ARPUs in the US, if you're giving 10% of your phone bill, you're probably in the range of $60 a year that goes to the cause. And so they can say to their members who are only giving $20 a year, hey, here's another way you can help that will actually triple the amount that you're giving. So it's a very lucrative opportunity for the cause partners. And the interesting thing is that it's actually a lot of the smaller causes that have a greater level of take-up in terms of their percentage of their base who care. They have a genuine community. They can ask people to say, oh, switch your phone service. It won't cost you anything. In fact, you might save a little money. And instead of 10% of your bill going to more TV commercials, 10% will come to us, something that you really support. So we are launched so far in the UK and in the US. We have intentions and plans to go as global as possible, as quickly as possible. Right now, we're really in the midst of the US launch, getting off the ground there. We're really very focused on that, so we're probably not going to expand to any other countries until possibly late this year, but early next year is when we'll really be looking to do some new and exciting things. And in terms of our subscriber growth, we're doing very, very well. So in the UK, we currently have 70,000 subscribers, which, by the way, is up from around, I would say 1 year ago, it was around 20,000. So we've had very strong year of growth in the UK. In the US, we're launched, and we're on track to hit 75,000 by the end of this year, which is the end of our first full year of operations in the US. So we're very excited about that. And obviously, the US market is very exciting to us. It's 335 million total subscribers. The interesting thing about our proposition is we don't aim to be, well, obviously we aim to be as big as we possibly can be, but we don't think that our offering is going to appeal to everybody in the marketplace. There is a certain segment of consumers who feel like they don't like that so much of their money goes back into more marketing expenses. They would rather devote to something that they're passionate about. And so we're aiming for 2% of the market in the US and UK by 2021. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have plans to go into as many markets as we can, as quickly as we can, all around the world. In terms of the consumer offering, it's fairly straightforward. We have to compete in the marketplace just like any other mobile phone provider. Where we try to position ourselves price-wise, we don't intend to be the cheapest in the market. We can't afford to be the cheapest in the market because we're giving 10% away. But at the same time, we can't be viewed as a premium offering that costs more. People would be very cynical if we said, oh, we give 10% of your bill to the cause of your choice, and they say, yeah, that's because you charged me 10% more. We have to be good value in the marketplace. We have to be, for most people who are looking to switch, we have to be the same price or a little cheaper than what they're used to. If we can manage to pull that off, they say, oh, well, why not? I was paying the same amount or a little bit more. I can switch and support the cause that I love. But for us, because we don't have a big marketing budget, it becomes very crucial and very important for us that our customers go out and sell the proposition, that it become a viral thing, that people share the idea, that they go out and they sign other people up. And so toward that end, and this is where I come in the business, the idea is how do we build a really strong community of people who go out and recruit people to raise money for the cause that they care about. And so our community is a really important part of our strategy. And so we've built a social networking platform where people can sign up, do all the normal things you do on a social networking platform, post your status updates, photos, invite your friends, connect to people, join groups that are related to the cause or the topics that you care about so that you can find other people who share similar interests. So all of that is going on. But the other thing is that, and we think this is really important, and we're just launching it now, is the TPO giving platform. So if you go out and you look, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of businesses these days, who are offering as a service to charities some assistance in raising money and fundraising online. And typically their business model is to take a percentage of the money. So if you go to Just Giving as a charity, they will help you raise money online. It's been very effective for a lot of people, but they charge a commission on that money. We want to do the same thing, but we're not interested in charging a commission. We don't want to charge the charities a commission for raising money. What we want is the beginnings of that relationship with the kind of consumer who cares about a cause, so that we can say to them, when you're donating money through the giving platform, at the end of the checkout, we say, hey, why don't you supercharge your giving? You can switch your phone service and give 10% of your bill. And so that fact that we don't take a cut is something that's really appealing to the causes. They say, wow, we really like working with some of these other platforms out there, but they take a hefty percentage of the money. If you're not going to take a hefty percentage of the money, that's very interesting to us. And you can raise cash for whoever and whatever you want. As I mentioned earlier, it's very, very open-ended. And we want to have small causes. I always like to give the example of my niece. So my niece is in the high school marching band in the US. So I don't know if you know about the US and high school marching bands, but it's a huge cultural thing. Many high schools, almost every high school has a high school marching band, and they play at the football games and things like this. And every year, the band, they do all kinds of different fundraisers through the year to raise money, say for an annual trip to Washington to play in a parade for the president or whatever it might be. And when my niece heard about this proposition, she said, oh, wow, that's interesting. So she just does the math in her head very quickly and says, you know, every kid in the band has a phone, their parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles. 10% of the bill would raise plenty of money. It would raise more money than we do by doing car washes and bake sales and all the things that they do to raise money. And so it's a really simple thing. And so having a very open platform where anybody can come and sign up, designate the cause, and recruit other people through the social platform to that cause to say, hey, donate money to the local, to your local high school band. We're raising money for our trip to Washington. Or also you can change your phone service, and that will give even more money, is something that we think is very exciting. So we're building it out with our members. Everything about the social site is very much in beta these days. It's a long haul process, building it out, growing that community, finding the right kinds of people who are super recruiters who go out and find other customers. And it's something that I'm very, very excited about. We're having early, very good successes with the platform, which is leading to rapid growth, but I'm seeing it begin to be something that we think in another 2 or 3 years' time is going to be really huge and really, really interesting. We've gotten a lot of press coverage. Not really sure what this slide is supposed to mean, except we've gotten a lot of press coverage, so that's cool. And basically, just to sum up, we're building platforms. Right now, what we're doing is a bit of overkill considering our current customer base, but we're building out this platform, preparing for future growth so that we have the ability, as people go out and recruit their friends, to turn those friends into further recruiters and further customers. And we're just trying to listen to our customers, deliver more good, and that's where we are. We're publicly traded. We did an IPO in London. Market cap 57 million pounds, so we're a small company, but it's all very exciting. And now we have time for questions. If you have any questions. And I have water. Not a single question. I've answered it all. Here we go. I don't know if there's microphones or whatever. Oh, here comes, magically, microphone.
If you're going to work with multiple causes, how are you going to prevent fraud?
Oh, problems with fraud. So no, we haven't had any problems yet with fraud, but that is obviously something that we're keenly interested in. One of the things that I always talk about is this goes all the way back to my experiences with Wikipedia. You would think it's a completely insane thing to do to leave your website content management system wide open so anyone can edit and participate, because clearly some bad people are going to come and do bad things. And the truth is they try, but you have to have mechanisms in place. So I always refer to this as the eBay question. In the early days of eBay, everybody thought, well, this is crazy, like anybody can come and sell anything. What about fraud? And the answer is you have to develop tools to deal with it. You have to develop mechanisms. In our case, it's actually fairly straightforward. So what we've done initially is we restrict ourselves to registered charities in the UK and 501c3 charities in the US. So there's sort of a level of government oversight. In the UK, that's much more strict. In the US, almost anybody can start a 501c3. It doesn't mean much. It's a tax status. But basically, that's one level. And then we have all your bank details. We know who you are. If we're going to send you the money, we have information about you. So if a fraud happens, we know how to tell the authorities what happened and so forth. But there's a deeper level, and this is part of the community site that we're building and the communities that we're building, is what we really want to do is to tap into people's judgments so that people are discussing the causes and saying, oh, well, the problem with this cause is if you go and look up the statistics, 90% of their money goes to staff overhead and very little reaches the end user. So that kind of open platform for discussion where people can choose the causes. In other cases, if you're trying to raise money for your local high school band, you know, as I was saying, the chances of fraud are very, very low there. People are really intimately involved with their personal causes. They know where the money's going, and they really appreciate that. So, yeah, it's an issue, but it's not a showstopper in our view. We just have to develop mechanisms to deal with it. So, back here, in the middle here. Oh, or in the front.
Can you give to several charities? Like, can you decide what percentage of the 10% can you give
so
to?
on the giving platform, so just to be clear, the giving platform allows you to donate money. So you can just donate money directly to the cause without being a phone company customer. And we don't take a commission. And as I said, the reason we do that is just to start that relationship. So we know if your friend is raising money for a particular cause, you may want to donate, but you might not want to change your phone service now, so we do that. So in that model, you can, yes, to any. In terms of your individual monthly donation that comes from your 10% of your bill, you can change it once a month, but you can't divide it between different causes in a given month. And we've thought about whether we wanted to do that, but the truth is, even in a high ARPU market like the US, if it's a $50 average bill, it's $5 a month. So dividing it among 10 charities, it gets pretty finely split. And in the UK, ARPUs are much, much lower, and it really doesn't make sense to split your, you know, £1 to £2 a month donation amongst multiple causes. So it's something we think about, but mainly we think right now it's just if you can change it once a month, that's probably enough. Here.
You don't have commercial on Wikipedia, and also this is almost goes without marketing. Why is that? Is it just mouth-to-mouth propaganda, or?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question.
Okay, you don't have marketing, like marketing campaigns?
Yes.
Why is that?
So in terms of marketing campaigns, we do have some. I mean, obviously, you saw some of our slides. We do different kinds of social media campaigns and things like that. But in terms of going out and paying for advertising, we cannot afford to do it in the same way that a traditional. No, if we had 10% extra revenue, we would probably spend the 10% on traditional marketing. But for us, the concept of the 10% serves as our story, which we then think that consumers will go out and tell other people. So one of the things I always talk about in this area is if you think about one of the big business trends of our time is word of mouth marketing is more powerful by a wide margin than ever before. 50 years ago, if you really loved something, you probably told 5 people. Now, if you really love something, you probably post on Facebook, where the average person has 314 friends. And so the ability for a story, if you've got a brand or a model that people want to talk about, they can do it. They can go out and tell their friends about it, and they can actually go out and recruit their friends and say, hey, I'm raising money for this cancer charity that helped my mother when she was ill. I would love it if you would contribute as well. And people do respond to that, and they say, well, here's a company that they don't spend money on TV commercials, they spend it on charity instead. That sounds interesting to people. We want people to go out and tell that story. And so this is why I say that the 10% actually replaces our marketing budget. It's something that it makes this an interesting play for consumers. Maybe back here. Oh, here's the other microphone.
Thanks. I thought maybe only front benchers can ask questions. I'm Jimmy, I'm Parag, I'm from India. I'm a Ashoka Fellow. I work on empathy through a simulation game. And what I see in your model is that the moment you donate, or 10%, whatever it is, can people become empathetic? And that's the big question actually the world is talking about. Obama made a statement that federal deficit is not a problem, but the empathy deficit is. And so through your model, how people are going to be empathetic?
There's a really weird echo. Everything you say, I hear it twice, about a half second apart. So just quickly, just the question spoken very slowly.
No, do you feel through this model people can get empathetic?
Do I feel?
Oh, should I come there and tell you?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Oh, this is much better.
This model,
yes.
can people become empathetic? Yeah, and I'm working on empathy through a simulation game.
Ah, okay, got it. Yes, yes, got it. Very good. Ah, amazing. Yeah, so the question is, through this model, can people become empathetic? Well, it's an interesting question. Like, one of the things we see on our, so if you go and sign up, tpo.com, social network, everybody come and sign up. It's easy to sign up, Facebook Connect, you just get on there. People are talking about causes and they're sharing information about causes. This is in part because of the demographic of people we appeal to. It's people who really do feel empathetic. They feel that they would like to make the world a better place in some small ways in their own life, and they want to meet other people who feel the same way. So it's a very positive, upbeat community, which I think helps. Whether it's going to change the world and make it more empathetic, I don't know. Probably not, but maybe a little bit in some small ways. But I think if we can gather a lot of good people together who feel like actually we can make a difference, like we can make different choices as consumers that are actually useful and productive and can help things that we care about. I mean, yeah, I hope so. It's great. Okay, great. Next. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
How come you get to that number, 2%?
How did we come up with the number 2%? We just made it up out of thin air, as one does.
So,
I didn't come up with a number. Actually, I couldn't give you a good answer to that, but basically, it's really a number to emphasize. We would like to be as big as we possibly can be. And where we got the 2% is when we're doing our initial projections of the business case in terms of going out to investors, what we really wanted to emphasize is you can be a really good business, a really solid business, if you control costs and you do things the right way with just 2% of the market. You don't need to be 40% of the marketplace to have a good business. And that's really what we wanted to emphasize, that because many people, investors, would say, yeah, I get that there's some people out there who care about this, but a lot of people are just driven by they want the cheapest price, or they don't really care. They saw a cool TV commercial, they signed up for the service. They're not really thinking in this way. And our point is, yeah, not everybody thinks in this way, and that's okay. Like, we can still have a good business even if it's a small percentage. Is that number 1% or 5% or 12% or 15%? I don't know. I hope it's on the higher end, but that's kind of the point of that number. It's to come up with projections that we felt like we can hit, and we really think that's important to give solid projections to the market and hit the numbers that we've promised. So, yeah. There's someone, just by the way, there's a woman way in the back, and I feel there's terrible discrimination against people who sit in the back. So we'll get her next. Yes?
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. A question about the origins, if you could share with us this, maybe a little bit the inside story of how it all started. Was it a social sharing idea, or was it a virtual mobile network idea that then leveraged social sharing?
Yeah. So how did we get started? So the history of the company, I am not a founder of the company. I met these guys socially in London, and they basically started, so where they started from was a much smaller idea initially. They were looking at fundraising for political parties. So this group of people, they're from the Labour Party in the UK, and they realized that Labour Party was depending, actually one of our founders, who unfortunately has passed away now, was the largest donor to the Labour Party. So he's a wealthy property developer, and he felt this was actually bizarre and inappropriate that a rich guy was the largest funder of the Labour Party. Didn't really make sense to him, and so he was thinking about what are some ways that the Labour Party could raise money that's independent of, say, the unions and other things where ordinary people could contribute in an easier way. That was the initial idea, and he had met these guys who were from mobile marketing world and who were interested in doing an MVNO, and they sort of brainstormed this idea to say, oh, maybe, if we had an MVNO, 10% of the money could go, and they did focus groups about the 10% and this, that, and the other. And then as they began to do this, they sort of realized, actually, this is a clever idea, and it has nothing to do with the Labour Party. It has nothing to do with politics. It could be any cause that people want to raise. And so then they started talking to me about, they were already up and running, and they were seeing, like, ad campaigns were too expensive, but word of mouth was working for them with a very minimal digital concept. They were getting more customers through their website than through other means. And so they said, well, we really want to go big. And so we got together and started talking, and I encouraged them to really think big and say, well, let's be a completely open platform. Let's have a digital first proposition where we get customers mainly through the online. Let's think global. There's no reason this should be a UK only thing. If the idea works, it can work globally. And these days, obviously, any consumer brand should have global aspirations, because it's not expensive to be global if you've got a good concept and it's purely digital. Now, we can't be as global as Wikipedia and Wikia, because as pure web plays, you just have to make sure your website's translated and you're instantly launched in another place. We need to do partnership deals with mobile carriers because we're an MVNO, and obviously the MVNO market in different parts of the world is more or less developed depending on the local context. So that's kind of the history. That's how we got where we are today. Okay, in the back, yay.
Thank you. So I'm interested about the community. I understand if I'm a subscriber, you offer me a value, so you give 10% of my monthly fee to charity. And that's good for me, and that's a reason why I would talk to other people about it. But my question is, do you do other things to push your subscribers to talk about you? Do you push the community to get bigger, or do you just rely on that the value that you're giving is good enough for them to share?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So certainly the part of the concept of the giving platform is to give people a reason who aren't customers. They can still sign up for the social platform and raise money for a cause. They may not even care about the phone aspect of things. They may just say, I'm starting a campaign. The software is very much in beta now, but soon we'll have the ability to do things like, you can say, I'm going to run a marathon or something, and I'm going to get people to pledge money, and I'm going to set up a campaign, or I'm raising money for this particular cause, and I'm asking people, say it's my birthday party, and I'm inviting all my friends, but I really don't want presents from my friends. I just say, if you're going to get me a present, instead, here on the invitation mechanism, you have a way that you can donate to this charity that I care about. So we want to give people lots of reasons to sign up and use the service, to promote it to their friends all around this cause-based concept, in the hopes and in the view that if we get the kinds of people who are active at promoting maybe their favorite environmental cause or whatever, that there'll be the kind of people who will also promote signing up for the phone service, which is our business model. So there's that. Now, obviously, on the social network, we have all of the standard kind of sharing tools and things to help things go viral. Good integration with Facebook and Twitter so that you can, when you post, you can tweet things out. We have a very, very small program of trying to get some celebrities on the platform. So we haven't put a lot of effort into that, but we have like Paulo Coelho, the author. He posts regularly because he's really, really sweet guy. And so things like that. So we've got a lot of different things going on to try to help that community grow and to give them the tools they need to go out and tell the world about something that they care about. Yes. Oh, it's 0. They're kicking me out. Bye.